We've all heard for years that secondhand smoke is bad for you, right? But bad for you can feel a little vague. Today, we're going to get specific. We're moving past the general warnings to look at the cold, hard numbers. We're going to see just how real and quantifiable this invisible threat actually is. And let's just kick things off with this, because it doesn't get any clearer. This is from the American Lung Association. There is no safe level of exposure. This isn't about, a little bit is okay. The science is crystal clear. Any exposure is a risk, period. So, just so we're all on the same page, what exactly are we talking about? It's a double whammy, really. It's the smoke a smoker breathes out, sure, but it's also the smoke that's just curling off the end of a cigarette or cigar. That combination is what hangs in the air and what we're going to be talking about today.
All right, so first up, let's talk about the big one, the connection to cancer. For years, this has been the absolute cornerstone of public health warnings. But how strong is that connection, really? Let's look at the data.
Now, the numbers I'm about to show you, they aren't just pulled from some random study. They come from massive, and I mean massive, meta-analyses. That's where scientists take the results of dozens, in some cases more than 90, different studies and combine them. It's how you get the most accurate, reliable picture possible. This is the heavy hitter stuff. And here it is. After looking at all that data, they found that non-smokers who are regularly exposed to secondhand smoke have a 1.24 times higher risk of getting lung cancer. Let me put that another way. That's a 24% increase in your risk just from breathing someone else's smoke. But then, get this. Researchers did another huge meta-analysis, this time looking at breast cancer in women who don't smoke. And the result? A 1.24 times higher risk. Look at that. The number is exactly the same. That is just stunning. And it tells us something absolutely crucial. This isn't just about your lungs. The fact that the risk for two totally different, very serious types of cancer is identical, well, it shows that this is a full-body assault. And yeah, this assault on your body goes way beyond just cancer. Secondhand smoke gets into your system and attacks our most vital organs. It even weakens our ability to fight off other diseases. Just take a look at the heart. Being around secondhand smoke bumps up a non-smoker's risk of heart disease by 23%. And the crazy part is, it doesn't take much. Even a little bit of exposure can start damaging cells and get that terrible ball rolling. But honestly, this next number might be the most sobering of them all. Exposure to secondhand smoke increases your risk of dying from any cause, what scientists call all-cause mortality, by 18%. It literally takes years off people's lives. It's not just about causing these long-term diseases like cancer or heart failure. The thousands of chemicals in this smoke actually weaken our immune system. It makes us more vulnerable to infections. A perfect example? Let's look at tuberculosis. Okay, now look at this difference. It's huge. For adults, the exposure increases their risk of active TB by about a third. But for kids, the risk more than triples, a 3.41 times increase. And that dramatic gap, well, it points to an even bigger problem. And that brings us to the kids. Because when we talk about all this, the danger to children is it's on another level. It's disproportionately severe, and honestly, the numbers here are deeply, deeply concerning. And this isn't some niche problem. We're talking about 40% of all children in the US being regularly exposed. That's a massive number. We're talking about almost half the kids in the country, many of them breathing this in at home, where they should be safest. So why is it so much worse for them? It really comes down to basic biology. Their little bodies, their lungs, their immune systems, they're all still under construction. They're just not equipped to handle this stuff. Plus, kids breathe faster than adults do, so relative to their size, they're inhaling a lot more of these poisons. And the consequences, they're just devastating. We see a higher risk of SIDS, more severe and frequent asthma attacks, serious respiratory infections like bronchitis and pneumonia, constant ear infections. Not to mention it can lead to low birth weight, slow down how their lungs grow, and even contribute to behavioral issues. The list is just heartbreaking. So the picture is pretty clear, right? The danger is real, it's measurable, and it's serious. But the threat doesn't just poof, disappear when the smoke clears. And that brings us to one final lingering idea we have to talk about. It's called third-hand smoke. It's that sticky, nasty, toxic residue that gets left behind on everything. The carpet, the walls, furniture, clothes, you name it. This stuff contains cancer-causing chemicals, and it can linger for weeks, even months, slowly releasing back into the air. And it's especially dangerous for little kids, who are always crawling around, touching things, and then putting their hands in their mouths.
So it all comes down to this, doesn't it? When we know the risks are this specific, when we can literally count the increased odds of getting cancer or heart disease, and when we see the devastating toll it takes on our children, the whole conversation has to change. It becomes less about an individual's choice and a whole lot more about our collective responsibility to protect the very air that we all have to breathe.